Today I really want to talk about something that's changed my life a lot, and a lot more people have this fear than you think they do. They probably just don't say anything, they just put up with it. So I really hope this helps. This is how I got over my fear of flying. So it was probably about, I always say 8 years ago, but I've been telling this story for a while now. It was probably in 2007, so 11 years ago. Crikey. No, okay, but let's go even further back. In 2005, I went on holiday with my mum, her boyfriend and my sister. We went to Lanzarote. I remember thinking, this is going to be fine because I've always liked flying. There was pictures of me when I was little, crawling over seats, looking out windows. I just loved flying, and I thought, well, that's going to be fine because I loved flying. Nothing can change in me, surely. I'll always love flying. So I remember arriving at the airport feeling really nervous, but still I was like, it's fine. And then I saw the plane and I just started crying. I would have been 13 years old, past November, but this was before, so I'd have been 12 because it was in the summer. So we all went on holiday to Lanzarote, and I can just remember walking on the plane and crying. The sight of the plane made me cry, and I just started to freak out a little bit. And because of that, when the plane started to kind of like, it's like a massive roar. And I hadn't been on a plane for a long time, and it kind of shook me a bit. And the plane just started going, and looking into it now, obviously we went about 150 miles an hour as takeoff speed, and I can remember it took me by surprise, it took my breath away, and I had a panic attack. And I remember grabbing my mum's hand, looking out the window, and I just thought, I'm gonna die. This panic attack is actually gonna kill me. And this was actually the flight that I scared my mum, and she was an okay flyer. So it all kind of started that off, and then we got to Lanzarote. We were there for 2 weeks, and I remember it just really just affected my whole holiday, thinking, I've just been through this traumatic thing, and I'm gonna have to get back on this plane to get home in 2 weeks' time. And that really did just affect my whole holiday. And I can just remember being exactly the same on the way back. So this was 2005, so it started then. Bearing in mind I was fine when I was little. So in 2007 we booked a holiday to Tenerife. Now this was with my mum, my sister and my nan and my auntie. By this time I had learnt that I had obviously got a fear of flying, so we went to the doctors, and I think they prescribed me diazepam. I don't know, unless that's something else that I've had, but for some reason not. I think it was diazepam, or Valium. It's like a Valium. So I remember getting to the airport and I took the Valium. I took it too late, basically. So I had the freak out. I didn't think I'd get on the plane this time. Had the freak out, and then 2 hours before we landed it kicked in. Obviously I hadn't really eaten, because when I get nervous I get really sick feeling. I started to hallucinate, basically, and I remember looking out the window and I was just like, and the clouds, no word of a lie, I love telling this story, the clouds were basically animals, and they were just jumping around. I was relaxed at this point because that was the effect it had on me. And then I also remember looking to my left, and my nan was sat there. Like, you've got 3 seats, and she was past the aisle on the other 3 seats. And I remember looking at my nan, and I was like, bloody hell, there's a nightclub on this plane. What's my nan doing in this nightclub? I honestly thought the whole left side of the plane was a nightclub and my nan was boogieing down. Honestly, yeah. So then I remember as we came into Lanzarote airport, which I thought we'd been descending for about 2 hours by this point, I thought we were just going like that, like just falling sideways. And at the time I was really calm, but I can remember waking up and I had my camcorder and I woke up in the morning in this strange country, just totally blacked out, in this strange country, and I picked up the camera and I started filming, and I don't think we have the footage anymore, but I remember going outside and was like, oh my god, where am I? Had to go wake my mum and sister up because I'd got to this country and I didn't know how the hell I got there. So that was a big no-no for me. So that was 2007. Everyone went on holidays, I didn't go. My mum, my sister, my family, they'd all go on holiday, I would just stay. Because I was that freaked out about the whole experience that I didn't want to anymore. And it really just affected everything. Which is sad because I'm losing out, and they'd come home and you'd see pictures, and it's you that's losing out. But I discovered this fear, and it is absolutely psychological, because I remember looking around at people and I don't understand how they could find this so normal. I met Leon in 2013, so 6 years later, and the first week we were together he said, we're going to Florida, we're going to Disney Florida. 2014, my auntie, Sheila, who supported me all the way through this, said, listen, they do a fear of flying British Airways course. They almost make a joke about your fear, saying if you take your hands off the side, the plane will stay up. And just things like this. I will go into this more. They just helped me. And then this hypnotist came along. Now I read this whole thing totally wrong, because I honestly thought that someone was gonna do everything for me, but that's basically half the job. They're doing it, but then you also have to allow it and help yourself and change your mind. So I did the course, and at the end of the course you go on an hour's flight. Now it's a plane full of everybody that has a fear of flying, so you're all kind of in the same boat, and I was on my own. So I can remember after the course I felt nothing had changed, so everyone was walking out up the escalator towards the gate. I saw my chance, I ran out screaming and crying, called my auntie, I said, come and get me. It hasn't worked. I felt horrible. I felt like I'd let myself down. I felt that this thing had won, that I'm not gonna go anywhere. I mean, I want to go to New York, I want to go to Florida, there's so many places I want to see, that I've let this thing win. Then a few months later, so we're now in 2015, Leon texted me one day. He was like, come meet me in Farrow. So I did. Farrow's the town near us, and we went into Thomas Cook to get prices for Florida, and we ended up putting a deposit down for our Florida holiday. Now this was basically the following year in 2016, so we were going in May 2016 and we booked it in April 2015. I booked it thinking, I honestly have no idea how I'm going to get on this plane. I'm going to let you down, I'm going to let myself down, but I'm going to book it and then just face that when we get to it, because I really don't know how I'm going to be. I then messaged my auntie and I was like, listen, this is what I've done. I've kind of got myself into something here. So she was like, right, come down, I'm going to pay for the course again, I'm going to pay for me to go on it with you, we're going to get on that plane together, and then you're going to get to Florida. Not only that, she was like, we're going to book you on another holiday for that September. So she actually booked us on to Rome. She booked me and my partner Leon to go to Rome. I then went on the course in June 2015. So again we went down to Heathrow. I felt a lot better because I felt like I had something to prove. I have 2 holidays booked now, really just have to sort my life out. So I went there and I spoke to the cabin crew straight away and I was like, listen, I've got 2 holidays booked. I really need to get on this plane. If I don't look like I'm going to get on this plane, please come over to me and help me get on this plane. She was lovely. She was like, listen, you've booked this holiday, you can't leave your boyfriend going to Florida on his own. Like, that's not cool, you're gonna get dumped. She kind of made it a joke, and again, I went on the course. I would recommend this course to anyone, but don't go to this course thinking that you don't have to change your thinking, because you really do. The second time I was like, well, I have to, so I'm going to listen here. I'm going to believe that I've changed my way of thinking. And they're really clever about how they do it, because I thought I had a fear of heights, which I do. I really do have a fear of heights. But it's why you are so scared when you're up there, because I hate takeoff. I hate how quickly takeoff goes. I hate the fact that we're like that angle. I feel like I'm going to fall backwards. And then I hate that we're like 35, 40,000 feet. I'm sure it used to be 30,000, by the way, but when you're in Florida, it's a lot higher. When you're up there, I feel like there's nothing under you and you can just drop at any time. But it actually all stems from not knowing a lot about the plane. So all the noises you hear and all the beeps, so there'd be a beep, doesn't mean that there's a problem. It just means that Carol and Sean in seat 37A want a coffee. It's little things. So they talk about all the noises that you'll hear and why it's normal and when to expect these things. They also said, if you're gonna get a panic attack, breathe in and out 3 times, but when you're breathing in, clench your bum cheeks. You breathe out slowly and breathe in and clench your bum cheeks. All that happened, then we had lunch, and I also just started to speak to people as well. So I built up this friendship. There's about 4 or 5 of us that all kind of said, we're gonna do this together. We're really just gonna do this together. And I did actually take an email off one of them, and I don't know where these have gone. So if, like, in 2 or 3 years' time, if you are watching this video and you went on the British Airways Fear of Flying with me, please get in touch, because I'd love to know how you're getting on as well. So yeah, I made a group of friends and we were like, we're gonna get on this. We're really gonna get on this. So then 3 o'clock came. 3 o'clock, that's the flight time. Basically, you just go around London for an hour. So my auntie met me. I was like, yeah, let's just go. Shutting everything out. I'm not going to think of anything else. Let's just do it. So we were walking there, and the people that I were with, they were like, yeah, let's do it. And everybody else was really up for it as well. Feeling quite positive about it. It was different from last time, because I'd made the effort to talk to people. And we walked to the gate, and one person who was on their own, who was in my little group, in the 4, our little cult, freaked out. She was me last time, and she just said that she couldn't do it, really couldn't do it. And I said, I'm not going on this plane without you. And she just started crying, and then I started feeling bad, because I was like, if someone did this to me last time, it wasn't time for me. It's obviously not the right time for her. So she didn't get on the plane. And I really hope, again, that she has somehow finished this for herself, because it's awful. So I got on the plane, and I remember, bearing in mind my auntie is like the head of a scientific thing in London, very, very high up, very formal, but also very nice, because she did this for me, and she sat next to me, and the engine started going, and this flight was incredible because the pilot actually narrates the whole flight. So when we're taxiing, he's like, we're now going to do the flaps, we're just testing this, we're just testing that. I remember thinking, this is just hell. So yeah, so at this point, I'd got on the plane, but I wasn't cured, but I was willing to give it another try, which was a massive step for me. The worst bit for me is when you're about to take off and just like, get on with it. Let's just go, because you're just there, and I have a takeoff position, and to this day I can't keep my eyes open during takeoff. I basically go sideways, put my hood up, hold the sides, and kind of like just like this. That's my position. And I remember doing this. And yeah, my auntie, who is just the head of this London scientific company, flies all over the world, I was like crying, and I was like, hold my hand, just hold my hand. So she was like, yeah, okay. So I held my hand and we were going up, and when I'm in this situation, I feel like if I move, something's just gonna happen. So I was like this. I couldn't look at her, couldn't look out the window. And I was like, ugh. And I was just crying. And I was like, if I've ever disappointed you in life, I'm so sorry. And I would just cry. I talk utter nonsense when I'm in this situation. And then we leveled out, and everyone was like standing up. I've never stood up on a plane. The pilot came and the cabin crew lady, Becky, for British Airways, she came and got me, and she was like, we're gonna walk to the front. Come on, let's go and walk. She got me up, and I was walking down the plane, and this is quite emotional. I was walking down the plane for the first time, and everybody was clapping me, and I felt like I'd actually achieved something. And in that moment, I actually thought, I can actually get on a plane. I've done something that I've never ever done before, and my life is actually going to be fine because I'm going to fly now. And I remember just standing there, and everyone was so supportive. It was incredible. I remember sitting back down. All the people that I'd met that day had done it as well. All the people I'd met that day had done it as well. They were proud of me. I was proud of them. It was lovely. And I got home, and Sheila was like, right, because you've done it this time, we're having steak. And Leon, he knew I'd do it as well, and he went to... Why is this so emotional? This is ridiculous. He went to M&M World and got me personalised M&Ms in the British colours, in Great British colours, so it's red, white and blue, because I went on British Airways, if you did make that link. And he basically, it all had well done, I knew you could do it, had some Yodas, some Star Wars in there as well, because he knows me so well. And that feeling, up against the feeling of letting yourself down and not trying something, not doing great in it as well as anybody else, but actually doing it, putting yourself in that situation and achieving something. I can't describe that feeling once you have done something that you didn't want to do, that put you in that situation where you thought it was life or death. I really can't describe it. So then we went to Rome and then Florida. So we stayed at the Radisson Blu Airport, which is pretty much on the runway in Terminal 2. And it was less stressful because I wanted to be at the airport so we can just walk down. It's so much less stressful. And this time we were flying with Virgin. This is about 8 to 9 hours. I can't get off the plane once I'm up there. That's it for 8 or 9 hours. It's done. I can't do anything about it. So the worry was there. I had a bath bomb that kind of calmed me down. I think it was either a midnight one or a yoga one. It might have been a yoga bath bomb because it has something in it that I thought it would calm me down. I remember tagging in to the airport, which you do, which my home insurance loved, and the comments on it were just like, you can do this, and this was just such a big thing. I'd really posted on Facebook about my journey here, and to this day I still get some people who have a fear of flying messaging me, which is why I'd, if this video helps, you don't have to message me, you can just watch this. So we went through Terminal 2, we had breakfast at Frankie Benny's. I had scrambled egg on toast, literally ate one bit of scrambled egg and that was it because I was so nervous. But Virgin were great because at the gate I spoke to them and I was like, I'm nervous at flying here, I've got a bit of a fear of flying. And they're like, right, we're going to get you on priority seating. So I actually went on with, sounds awful, people in wheelchairs. It's special assistants, but it's quite awful. But it's nice that they do that. So I remember sitting on the plane, no one else being there, and you can really just take it in. And I can remember just walking onto the plane thinking, oh my god, there's a staircase in this plane. Look how big this plane is. I didn't feel claustrophobic. I felt like I could breathe. My worry wasn't as bad as it had been at all. And at that moment, I think my anxiety went down a lot. It was still there, but it went down a lot. And then we sat down, and then I introduced myself to the manager of the plane, because we chose our seats. The left side, I think it's about 47A, B, C. It's the left side, near the wing, so you're in the middle, and you're near the staff galley. So if anything was wrong, a staff crew member sits behind you as well, cabin crew member, and I really strategically thought this through. So if anything goes wrong, someone's there. And there were 2 people already that were just talking to me, and they just made my whole experience great. And I remember sitting there, and I chose all my programs, and yeah, okay, takeoff was a lot smoother than I thought it'd be. I was in my position, and Leon's like, look, because you go past this pub as well where everyone's waving at you, and at this point, bearing in mind I hadn't got excited about going to Florida because I didn't think I'd ever get there in my life, and we took off. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and we leveled off. And I remember it was at that point when we leveled off that I realised that I was going to Florida, and I never thought I would. It was the first time since we booked it that I could actually get excited that I was going to Florida. 8 hours before we landed. Hey, it's a big thing. It's a big thing, but if you have a fear of flying, there is a way around it. You have to believe. So I was watching Family Guy, it was great, we landed, and I'm going back to Florida for a 3rd time in 9 months. 287 days, and I'm going back, and we're taking my mum and sister. There's Star Wars Land and Toy Story Land, and that's everything I love. And you get there, we do the dining plan, we get the gift card, we stay in the Coronado Springs. We basically just do Disney how Disney is supposed to be. I hate rides. Absolutely hate rides. And I can remember when in 2014 we went to Disneyland Paris, and I went on Pirates of the Caribbean. I didn't do my research. There was a drop, I swore, and there was this little girl in front of me, and my whole family were embarrassed by me. So I really had to do my research. But this is going to be another vlog where I've looked into every single ride. If you don't like drops, if you don't like heights, these are the rides that I've pushed myself to go on that anybody can do if I can do it, because I'm that person that used to hold the bags. I'm that person that didn't believe that I could ever do something like that, and I have. This is one reason I wanted to vlog, because things like this, if you can take any kind of aspiration or be inspired by things like this, and you get on a plane or you get on a ride, that feeling is incredible afterwards. Stuff the panic attacks. It's that feeling after that you want to focus on. And one thing that I remember a lady saying in my fear flying course was, listen, the best thing if you're going to have a panic attack is just say, bring it on. And it kind of works. So it's helped me, and I don't love flying, but I don't hate flying. I now go to the toilet on a plane without, because 8 hours to Florida with no weeing, that's horrendous. I can now do that, and I conquered that on my 2nd flight last time, which was this year. Actually went to Florida for the 2nd time, and I conquered that, and it was such a relief, literally. If you have a fear, I know it's hard to say this because I'm not one to now go and skydive, but if you have a fear, try and find different ways to get over it, because not everybody's the same. But I'm going to Disney World, Florida for the 3rd time. A person that had panic attacks on a plane and vowed never ever to fly again. Thank you. I feel like I've taught a lecture today. I hope this helped, and if you have any questions about flying or my experiences, please just comment, because I love talking about this kind of stuff. So if you have any comments or any questions about my fear of flying course or how I feel on a plane now, just comment, because I would love to hear your experiences as well. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.